Okay. I found this. I don't know why it took me so long to find this, and this is just confusing as hell, but I found this. This is a ring. They made a ring, and I can just export that as prefab, which I've already done. But I did want to take a moment to address what the hell they decided to do as far as, like, rings went. So I'm going to take these two, and then I'm going to hide everything else. These two rings are interesting, in my opinion, for a couple of reasons. The first is that they made this, for this ring, they made the sides, like, inconsistent. It's like they made a smaller ring inside of a bigger one. And I find that really cool. I like that. And I gotta keep that for when I make the exit port. But it's this one that I'm interested in. So what they did was actually, now that you look at it, it seems kind of obvious. They just took the sides, divided them up, and then divided those into triangles, probably thanks to the important geometry. But the problem with that is in DEdit, it sucks trying to do that. So what I'm going to do instead is from here, from this view, I'm going to add a new cylinder, like that. I can't figure out how to rotate these damn things, but we'll worry about that later. I'm assuming these are 32 sides. Like, we'll start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, 32 sides. 8, 16, 24, 32. So we have a circle just like the one that they have right there. Problem. Even if I put the grid down to its smallest proportions, there is no way I can link up each and every individual side. Like this one, for example. This one is just completely off. So instead, the only thing that I've noticed can actually do this is if I take this, I put it at the center, and then I make a new cylinder in the center of that. So radius 256, something like that. Now what this does is, and I'm going to expand the grid out again, it allows me, instead of having to work at every single particular side, I can work from these particular angles, and I can just split the polygon from there. So I'm just going to take this splitter, I'm going to split it on all four sides, like I would a square. Right where this is, so on this line, I got to make sure I'm selecting all of them first. Get rid of that, right? It creates this really complicated mesh, but in the end, once you've smoothed out all of the inner pieces, it does have the desired effect. Your biggest problem that I have seen is, like I said, those inner pieces. They are a bit of a hassle to deal with. So what you've done now is, now you have this here. And really the best you can do with the inner side is just to trace along this circle and cut it out from the here. It's not perfect, but it's a lot easier in my opinion. Since you can probably get this to be a lot easier than... So you take this square piece, and then you just go along, hopefully where the circle is in most instances. Like, if you're going to get it off just a little bit, it's like, when the grid is so small at some point that you're just not even going to notice it. The corner pieces here, I'd say try to find the closest possible diagonal alignment to it. And here, that's just a perfect match. You're gonna have these problems, but that's okay. If you find that some of these aren't being cooperative, I suggest Keeping it on like this is a problem. I made a mistake here. I went from the outer to the inner. I would suggest keeping it like not outer to the inner, but like I would suggest keeping it below the circle's radius instead of above it. But it's a minor discrepancy at this point. So like maybe right there, and then right there. And then you know that these points are going to match up. So you don't have to worry about that. And then you just trace it up. Here, oh, I appear to not have properly placed a point there. Interesting. Make sure that these are sides are all aligned. And again, take this all with a grain of salt because you know me, I am the biggest idiot. Did I make this 512 thick? I don't think I made it like 128. I said 238 for some reason. Yikes. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, I can just do this. Big deal, big deal, big deal. So now what you effectively have is one part of the inner piece. You can just delete the square. Now what you have to do before doing anything else is you have to take this and you have to split it at its edges. You have this. Use it. You just make it so much easier on yourself when you do this. I'm not quite sure what that discrepancy is up there. We'll worry about that later. I did not see that the first time I did this. Because now you know that every little turn piece is on a line, and there was very little discrepancy from the original path. Like, if you zoom out, you're not going to see the overall problems. Depending on how small you've made this circle, of course. Now, the way I did this when I was making the O's in the giant logo is probably not the best way to go about it. And you could also do it like with sideways lines. It doesn't really matter. As long as you split these up in such a way that the geometry doesn't try to connect itself on the inner parts. There's no turns, no ridges, nothing like that. Which can be difficult to get as the longer this line gets, which is why it's not always the best idea to do what I'm doing. But it is a DEdit friendly way to an extent. I also wouldn't recommend changing the directions of the lines like at the middle of the circle. I have no clue what that'll do. But this is the only good observable way. I also noticed the texture is off. I can't be bothered to deal with that right now since I'm not even going to save any of these changes. So what I have here now, and I'm not quite sure what this is. What are you? What the heck are you? I would like to know what you are. What are you? That's Alexa, don't worry about her. Alexa, stop. Cool. I'm not actually at home right now. So I don't know what that is. Is the underside still there? Did the underside get deleted accidentally? No. Yeah, I guess sometimes you have these problems. How far can I expand the grid out? I'm gonna move this just to see if I'm missing any pieces of it. Like, yeah, those shouldn't have edges. I'm not worried about that. That bottom side has an edge. I'll get rid of those. I see no problem with this, so I'm just going to delete this side. Wherever you came from, be gone, demon. But yeah, this is more or less... Like, you'd have to get rid of the back sides to smooth out the geometry. So, say... Oh, I gotta... Jeez, you guys are weird. Do all of them extend out infinitely, or is it just this one? Maybe it's just the ones... I think it's just the initial two, which I find to be kind of interesting. Let me guess. Yeah, you have it too. Where did that come from? So, yeah, what you're basically looking at, you've got yourself, you know, a pretty good interior of a circle. As long as none of them have an infinite extension like that did. You're pretty good to go. That's your inner part of a circle. You've effectively made a ring. Now all you need to do is paste alternate this 4 times and have it align up with the other edges. The only reason I'm not using hotkeys is just because I can't be bothered right now. But there you go. And now you have a ring. Well, an O in this case, but also a ring. It could be worse. It could be a lot more tedious, and I wouldn't even know where to start trying to optimize all of this geometry. But I don't know, don't bite a gift horse in the mouth. It looks like an O. Like, from this distance, you can barely tell that you even changed anything. And you can't say I'm wrong there. Except for the fact that the rest of these aren't textured. With the texture that I didn't even mean to put on the first one, so... There! Now you have a weird-looking O. Go me. Hopefully that does something. I'm going to be posting this on my website in place of my developer log. I didn't even mean to put one up today. I just figured this out and decided, screw it, I'll just put it up. One more tip, make sure that before you finalize anything, that you've gotten rid of all of these inside faces. You can do that by just either splitting up each of the pieces of geometry or going into the geometry editor and deleting the faces. I have no clue how to do that. Like, you think it would be easy, but it's not. Like, what the hell did I just do there? I have no clue. But, point taken. I think I've made my point. Just don't be an idiot, and I think you'll be fine.